The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throb in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Earnestly Podcast. Thursday edition of the podcast. And by the way, the only way to kick it off on Thursdays here, of course, was our man, the Degenerate himself, who missed last week, actually. Welcome back. So, yeah, duty call, I guess, last minute for you.
You got to work when you're losing every other week, so.
I don't know. I don't know if you didn't do the show because of the election results or because of, you just getting your ass kicked every week against me.
Oh, man. It was purely election, and, honestly, I had to work, so.
Well, we didn't have a chance to talk about it last week after the postmortem with us. I've spoken my piece about this election for the last week or so now on this podcast. I think at nauseum at this point. I know folks probably say, okay, enough of the fucking politics, really, but it is what it is. I guess give your thoughts on everything that's transpired last week.
Well, I sort of expected this. About a week out, I had grown so tired of turning on Twitter, but clearly it still hasn't stopped. It is just nonstop right wing, or I shouldn't say that, Republican agenda. All I see is something about Trump, something about Trump, something about Elon Musk, something about Elon Musk. It is the most boring feed in the world now. But so I had been feeling like he was gonna win, and I wanted to say it was just being manipulated by Twitter, but clearly he did win in a landslide. I'm gonna say this. I hope people are ready for what's coming. All of those 70 million people who have loved him because of his attitude, I hope they're paying attention to who he's already putting up there. All you heard was he was going to end wars.
Lots of hawkish guys in there.
Super hawkish guys already getting nominated. So I'm going to imagine we're going to be going to war in the Middle East, or at least propping up Israel for a long fight in the Middle East. Now, you heard from the Speaker of the House, they're going to go after pre-existing conditions for health. So get ready.
Johnson, right?
Yep. So get ready to get fucked on your health care. And tariffs plus deportations at the same time, do you know what that's going to cause inflation to do? I don't care if he belittle Jerome Powell at the Fed every day for 24 hours. You could make those rates zero. Everything's going to skyrocket in prices.
Well, this is the will of people, what they voted for. People already know how I voted, how you voted. Although people accuse me of being MAGA, which is kind of crazy considering that I've been very clear who I voted for in this election. But whatever. Like I said, I already spoke my piece about this whole situation, about this election. This is the will of people. To be honest with you, I'm glad. And no matter who won the election, I wanted to be a convincing win. I didn't want to be something close and was all this chaos and drama. So now the mandate's there. Now if things happen, you know what's up. Like there's no excuse now. There's no, none of that. What if it was a fraud? What if all this? No, it's he's gonna have popular vote. He's gonna have about 3 to 5 million people votes ahead of Kamala Harris, and Like I said, I think Democrats also too. All this that they're paying the sins of 2016 and beyond, and the party does not never learns. And you figure like after a week later that they would still get it, but some of the rhetoric you hear from people, some top Democratic surrogates, still don't get it. And you got to hope and pray that the guardrails work one more time. That's all you got to say. If you were a someone who didn't vote for Trump and is worried sick about the future of this country, you would hope those guardrails hold up. That's all I got to say.
I'm going to say filibuster's gone, and that's the last guardrail, so it's all over. They'll be able to do anything they want, give any kind of tax break they want, and I really worry when you're putting everybody who either donated massive amounts of money or kiss your ass the most a position that they want the most, like Elon Musk, and they're going to create a new federal bureaucracy called for government efficiency.
Yeah,
All
Doge.
he's going to do,
DOGE. So that
yeah,
him and Vivek Ramaswamy. Yeah,
he is going to take away all of your labor rights that have been fought for the last 50 fucking years. A man who is totally anti-union is going to shred the National Labor Review Board. And I don't know if anyone was paying attention over the last 18 months, but UPS got massive raises. Auto workers got massive raises. Machinists just got massive raises. And it was because of their unions. And you're losing the one president who actually cared about a union.
Yeah. For all the criticism we have about Joe Biden, the one thing no one can deny is that he is the most pro-union president we had since FDR.
And it was all because
it's not even close.
Who he put up there at the FEC or SEC. So.
Right. So anyway, that's your thoughts on the election. All right, so this party started here. Week 11 upon us. Best bets. You're still not winning a game this year.
No.
A week this year rather. We skipped last week. I mean, I did my best bets, but because I was able to get yours in, we're going to skip last week. So hopefully the bye week helps you out a little bit. We'll see. All right, we got 4 buys here before we get started. The Arizona Cardinals, Carolina Panthers, New York Giants, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of these 4 teams, who do you think needs to buy more?
Who are the first 2 teams?
The Cardinals, the Panthers, the Giants, and the Buccaneers.
Oh, it's got to be the Giants, man.
Why do they need it? This season's done already. What do they need to buy for? That's tank.
Easy. Panthers and Bryce Young are starting to get something going. Why would you want to have a week off? Right? Wheels are turning, things are slowing down. Why would you want to break up that chemistry? Cardinals maybe for health, but otherwise, I mean, aren't they in first in the division right now?
Right now they are, yeah.
Yeah,
currently.
So again, everything's clicking. Why would you want to?
The Bucs can use it. Some of the injuries they have too, especially the Bucs can use it, and they've been competitive. Look, they lost a couple of games last couple of weeks, but against the two Super Bowl teams last year by an average of what, a total 6 points against the Chiefs and the Niners, without their best players and Godwin and Mike Evans. I mean, they got bitten by the injury bug at the worst time.
Yeah, I still think it's your Giants who don't even want to be on the football field.
Yeah, just don't show up. Don't forget bye rest of the year. How about that?
There you go.
Anyway, let's get to the first game. I'm looking forward to this game. But same for weeks. This is the game of the week, and I'm saying it still, even with all the games even with the big games on the schedule this week, this is still my game of the week. And that's your Commanders at Eagles. The Eagles right now are 3.5-point favorites. The over under 48.5. Zach.
So I want to preface this on the fact we were 7-2, and not even 10 days you could be 7-4. I don't want people to start trashing the team or jumping off the bandwagon just because we might lose a couple. But I'm going to play it safe and take the over.
I'm with you, man, on that. I think we have to measure expectations also too. Yeah, what happens to a team that you didn't think would be so good come out of nowhere and win games, and you all of a sudden have this oh my god, this team's way better than I thought, and then they lose a couple of games, you're all disappointed, They've already done more than we thought they'd do this year.
Absolutely.
Okay? So let's be clear about that.
I didn't think they'd
What the
win
question
7
was
games.
for the Commanders in the last couple of weeks prior to this week against Pittsburgh was how do they measure up with the teams that are on level or better? And the Steelers game, they could have won that game.
Absolutely. I still say that
Yeah,
was the first down.
they could have won that game. So, yeah, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, until they can prove it to me that they could beat the Eagles, the Eagles still a better team, in my opinion, more talented team. Like the Eagles' issues are all internal. So until then, give me the Eagles to cover this game. I hope I'm wrong. I'm going to put the Commanders win this game, but I just don't see
No.
the
I mean, the Eagles
Commanders
pass
at this
rush alone
point
against
being the
our
Eagles team has won
offensive
5 in a row
line.
and starting to pull together. It seems like all the stuff internally is, yeah. So give me the Eagles to win this game and cover 3.5 points. All right, next one here. We got the Packers at Bears. The Packers are 5-point favorites. The over/under is 40. Zach.
All right. Look, the Bears season starting to go downhill.
Yep.
And it was essentially all because of a Hail Mary. Where
Against your team.
just knock it down. Don't try and
Hello.
just knock it down.
Or how about your corner start dancing in the field when the game's over and stay engaged into the last play?
Yeah. Now you're seeing analysts calling for Caleb to be benched. It's like, give me a break.
That's stupid. That's stupid. He's got to play. He's got to play.
But
he's got to play.
I love Green Bay this week. With everything going wrong with Chicago, give me Green Bay.
I do too, and they won't win this game. But I'm worried about betting on them to cover the spread because, again, it's a divisional game. Packers on a bye week. I get it, but I think the safer bet is the over here. I know they say, well, the Bears won't score anything, but 40 points. You tell me these teams can get more than 40 together? Like, come on. I can see a 28. I don't know. I can see like a 24-20 game here.
I could see a 24-6 game.
I mean, that's crazy. But you took Green Bay here, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know. We'll see. But off of mine, though, I will say that if anything, that's one argument in your favor. So anyway, how about this one? Probably the biggest spread of the whole year. Jaguars at Lions. Lions 14-point favorites. The over/under is 46.5. Zach. Wow, 14 points. Wow. Whew.
Mac Jones looked good for like a quarter.
He did.
I mean, no.
You'll be there, right?
We're gonna be there
at the game, right?
I have to assume they're gonna right the ship. It's gonna be like run every single play. One of these games where Jared Goff completes 13 from 15 passes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the Lions to cover the spread, and I think they'll beat them really bad.
And not only that, we got word today that Trevor Lawrence is out again this week.
Yeah.
So
well, that's why I assume that's why it was so high.
Yeah. Best bet though, I might bet the over in this game because I think Detroit can get 46 on their own. Honestly, yeah. I think get the number on their own.
They could. I mean, they get up 28-0 first half. They'll start trying to pull out every trick play again.
Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, give me the over in this one. I like the over in this one. I think they'll put up at least 35 points. I think Tennessee will get garbage points and get the over. So look, and Jared Goff needs to get right game 2 on top of that after that five picks against Houston. But hey, still won the damn game, right?
That's it.
That's all that matters. And by the way, Detroit right now, in my opinion, best team in football right now. I think it's pretty clear. All right, next one. Vikings at Titans. Vikings are 6-point favorites over under 39.5, Zach.
Look, the Vikings are starting to struggle. Sam Darnold hit his wall a while back.
Mm-hmm.
I might have missed that a couple of weeks ago, but I'm still going to take the Vikings. I'm still going to take the Vikings this week.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I feel like Minnesota needs to get right game. They've struggled the last couple of weeks. They struggled against the Vikings, against the Jaguars last week without Trevor Lawrence. Barely won that game. They need a get right game. I mean, Sam Darnold has the best receiver in football on his team. Don't forget that.
Yeah,
so I feel like this will be the week to get right. And I think Tennessee is like arguably worst team in football, arguably. So yeah, give me the Vikings here to win this game. Vikings to cover. They should get the job done here. Wouldn't bet it though because I don't trust them to cover the spread. But if the best bet here, I'll say take the Vikings here. So, all right, we got Raiders at Dolphins. The Dolphins center point favorites. The over under is 44. Zach,
I love the Dolphins in this game.
you do.
Yes. Look, they have been putting up points every single game that Tua's been back. All right. They're going to put up 30 at least. And I can't imagine Oakland's going to score or Vegas is going to score more than maybe 10, 13 points.
Man, that half point is wacky. And because of half point, I'm taking the Raiders on the points. Dolphins win. But the Raiders even in their losses have been very competitive.
This is a 1 o'clock game, right?
Yeah, but I don't know I don't know what Raiders teams. Well, not Raiders team. What Dolphins teams going to show up this week? I don't know. So because of that, I'll just take Raiders on the points here. Dolphins win this game probably by a touchdown, but at that half point, has me being very shy. So give me the Raiders on the points.
All right.
What do you think? No, you don't agree, don't you?
No, I
It's like
think
a lag here a little bit, buddy.
I think the Raiders and Tennessee are both trying to tank.
All right, we'll go to the next game in the meantime since you're lagging. Rams at Patriots. Rams are 4.5 point favorites. The over under is 43.5. Zach,
I'm actually gonna. I like the under in the game. All right, Patriots defense will still show up. All they had to do was create a rush against Mayo, and I think they'll be all right. So I don't think there's gonna be a lot of scoring.
yeah, I'm with you, man. I'll take the under as well too. I initially was going to put the over, but I was like, you know what? These teams, I mean, the Pats have a hard time scoring even their wins. So why bother? Rams have to win this game. I was tempted to take the Patriots to take the points here on the Pats because I'll tell you what, with Drake May, they've been very frisky, if you will. They've shown some sign. Look, I'm not saying Drake May is the next coming of Patrick Mahomes. I'm just saying that they at least show some sign of life, and they're giving something that Jacoby Brissett did not show or give as a starting quarterback. So, at the very least, I can see an argument with the Pats being on the points here, but I'm going to take the under as well too to be safe here. It's a lot. It's so much points for the Pats. If the Pats win this game, first off, it'd be on defense, not on the offense, obviously. So, give me under here as well. All right. We got Browns at Saints. The Saints are 1 point favorites. The over under 44.5. Zach.
Dude, this is a terrible game to even want to watch. I mean, week on, week off. So this is supposed to be Jameis Winston's week.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what I'll do. This will be his week he's on. So give me the Browns.
Although I will say, if the Browns win this game, it's because of defense, not because of James Winston. But that being said, yeah, you're right. And off a bye, too, on top of that. But, God, I don't know, man. I hate this game. This is a complete stay away. I'll take the Saints because they're at home. But no other reason why than they're at home. That's it. I just don't.
But you don't think Jameis Winston coming back to the Saints?
Yeah, sure can happen. But I'm not gonna. First, I'm not gonna bet this game anyway. So maybe I'll live bet it if I see the first couple of drives how it looks. But no.
Under.
Right, the defense, right. But I'm going to take the Saints here. I think the Saints now with Derek Carr back in the lineup, they should be able to get some wins here. They're terrible, but yeah. All right, we have people leaves the game of the week. We have the Ravens at Steelers. Ravens 3 point favorites over under 48, Zach.
All right, this has to be the week the Steelers come back to earth with Russell Wilson.
You think so?
All right. Yes, come on. Now, I'm not saying Ravens blow them out or anything, but I think this is going to be like a 17-10 game. A lot where the ball's moving a lot, but no one's getting in the end zone.
Just taking the under?
Yeah, I'm taking the under.
Here's the problem. Baltimore's pass defense is terrible. So if there's a game that Russ can really cook, this is a game to do it.
But are they going to start off giving them the chance, or are they going to play Smash Mouth and become a Smash Mouth game, and they never diverge from it?
Probably, but I don't know.
You want to take the Steelers, aren't you?
I am. I'm going to. Yes, because and it's more to do with the Steelers playing well and the Ravens just their offense is fine. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, MVP candidates, you get it. Their defense is the problem. They almost lost to Cincinnati last week. They should have lost to Cincinnati last week. They won the game because of Lamar Jackson. So give me Pitt with this game. I think Pitt. I think it's in Pittsburgh. The crowd, the defense. TJ Watt will keep everything within range. Yeah, give me the Steelers in this one.
So, real quick, I've been having this thought lately because Lamar's like the second choice in the betting favor for MVP.
Who's number one? Josh Allen?
Josh Allen.
Okay.
And so now you essentially back-to-back MVPs when he could have been had for 2 first-round draft picks, and every single team owner in the NFL was like, nah, we're good. And they want to say there's no collusion. I mean, this is becoming an
we said this in the podcast 2 years ago. We said this.
I know, but now it's literally you can't even deny fact. It's like, good God, guys.
But you know what? Atlanta.
What you could have had.
Yeah. You guys being Atlanta. Good job. But you got Kirk Cousins though. No big deal.
Yeah.
Hold on,
later, older.
Idiots.
Way older.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Colts at Jets. The Jets are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is 44, Zach.
Dude, I'm taking the Colts. All right. I believe Aaron Rodgers has quit on this team. There is no point in him even being on the field anymore this season.
Was it you that said in text that you think Aaron Rodgers is tanking?
I mean, he had one of the largest pockets I saw all of Sunday. All day long for his game, and he just threw it away where his receiver couldn't have jumped at his highest and not been able to catch. And it's like, what was the point of that throw? Like, you were just giving up.
Yeah. So the Colts are going back to AR-15.
Yeah.
And Flacco's playing shit last couple weeks. And everybody's criticizing the move to going back to AR-15. I disagree with that. I think they're doing the right thing because they have no choice. They got to see this thing through. They got to see how this kid can have some sign of life. Flacco's going to retire at some point next year or two. At some point, like Richardson's the future at this point, and you already invested a lot of money into this kid. You drafted him pretty high. You have to see where it goes. You have to play him. This is the right move. So that said, though, I don't trust any of these two teams. So I'm gonna bet the under. The best bet's the under. Like the Jets might win this game, finally get a win, but the best bet's the under because, I don't trust any of these quarterbacks. I can't even say this right now. I don't trust Rodgers anymore. I can't trust him.
Hey, Aaron, if you lose the AR-15, just retire.
Yeah, just retire. Yep, I agree. All right, 4:00 games. Falcons at Broncos. Broncos 2.5-point favorites. The over/under is 44. Zach.
I want to be able to take the Denver, but I'm just gonna take the under in the game. I'm gonna play it safe.
By the way, pay attention to the wild card race because it feels like right now, if you set the playoffs right now, obviously division winners. The winner of Ravens Steelers, the AFC North, will lose. The other one will get the wild card 5 probably. Wild card 6 is like the Chargers going forward. Wild card 7 is a race right now from the bottom between the Broncos, who's 7 right now currently. Then you have the next two teams, the Colts and the Bengals, and they're only a game off.
Yeah, now I don't bet on the Bengals.
I would too. My bet is the Bengals make the playoffs right now. That's my bet. This is a big game. This is a big game for the Broncos because if the Broncos lose this game, that's 2 losses in a row. You had the heartbreaker against KC last week. Okay, they lose at home to Atlanta, and it's a young team, young quarterback. Things can start falling the wrong way. Cincinnati, while not being impressive this year, the defense is really, really bad. At the same time, you got Joe Burrow still, and they can put points anytime. They'll be right back in that mix right now. Probably the 7th seed at that point. I think this is a huge game for the Broncos. That said, Atlanta needs to get right game. Give me the Falcons win this game outright.
All right.
So
You're not afraid of that defense. Good job.
Which one? Broncos? No.
Yeah.
I'm not. They're really good, but like, come on. All right. How about the Seahawks and Niners? Niners 6.5-point favorites. The over under is 48. Zach. Is that 48?
That's a little high.
Let me try to make sure it's correct. Hold on. That looks high. I haven't written that wrong. Let me make sure it's correct though. That feels high. Maybe it's 45. Let me see. No, it is 48. It is 48. Yeah, that's right. Damn, it's high.
Damn, how many people is San Francisco missing on defense?
I don't know, but McCaffrey's back.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't account for a 48 with those two teams. Does it? With only a 6-point spread?
I think last time they played, didn't San Fran win 27-17? I thought.
Well, either way, I was taking San Francisco, so.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Seattle's.
I'll just take that.
Yeah, Seattle's a bunch of frauds. I was saying that even when we were 3-0. San Francisco is deciding to start turning it on. Obviously, injuries aside, you got a nice little race to them. Right now, the race between them and the Cardinals right now in the West. Who would have thought? San Fran starts turning on now. Now, if they're healthy, of course, by the end of the year, we'll discuss them as a top team in the NFC, obviously. But for the time being, to see how they get healthy, they got McCaffrey back, of course. Give me San Francisco to win this game outright. You have San Fran also, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah. All right. Everybody's game of the week here, of course. Chiefs at Bills. Bills 1-point favorites. The over/under is 46. Zach.
Give me the Bills. All right. We're going 3 weeks in a row where somehow some football miracle has happened so that Kansas City can win. I can't take it anymore. Give me the Bills. They got to be the team that breaks this.
Yeah. So the Chiefs will lose a game this year, we think, right? At some point, they will lose a game.
Yes.
This is the one. This is the one they lose. I mean, Buffalo historically plays them well anyway. Even when the Bills lose to the Chiefs, it's always good game. It's always close games. Last year too, in the playoffs, get on the wire, last second field goal. The Bills are running hot right now, and they want to obviously, get a little bit of revenge. And it's not really revenge, really. If you lose in the playoffs, even if you beat them in the regular season, it's not really revenge because you still lost in the playoffs. But I guess revenge here, especially too. But I will say this much. If the Chiefs win this game, that's 10-0 for the Chiefs. And as weird as this year's gone for the Chiefs, all these close games they've had, I got to tell you, 17-0 is on the table. Okay? So let's play the hypothetical quick, Zach, before the next game. Chiefs win this game as the Bills. You want to see the rest of the schedule?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, here you go. Then they played at Panthers.
All right.
The Raiders at home to win. Home against the Chargers. This is a weird game, too. This could be one of those games where they could lose, but it's a home game for the Chiefs. At Browns. Home against the Texans, who've been a little underwhelming this year. Then at the Steelers. And then at the Broncos. It's a double schedule there.
They could theoretically be 10-0 and then go 4-3, be 14-3 by the end.
And still be the 1 seed.
There's 3 tough games in there.
And still be the 1 seed. And still be the 1 seed.
Yeah.
That's a sick part.
Well,
not
necessarily if the Steelers pull off a victory and stay hot. So
yeah, I don't know if they stayed that hot, but
you're picking them this week.
Only this week. That's it. But yeah, give me Buffalo in this game. So that scenario won't play out anyway because once they lose this weekend, it's off the table. So give me the Bills to cover this game outright, to win this game outright. All right, Sunday night game. Bengals at Chargers. Chargers 1-point favorites. Over under is 48. Zach, I'm looking forward to this game actually a lot.
This should be a really great game.
I can't.
But look, if Bengals are gonna make the playoffs, they have to start winning. So it has to be this week. All right, they have to go in there and they have to smoke the Chargers just so they can feel like they have hope. So give me Cincinnati.
I'm the same way here too. Also, everybody's talking about the 3 big games, of course. Commanders, Eagles, Ravens, Steelers, Bills Chiefs, but this game to me is pretty big.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I told you the AFC West, the AFC wildcard situation. If Denver loses on at 4:00, this game's at 8:00. The Bengals do their job. They're even in the AFC wildcard situation. So that being said, I like Cincy here. I just do. But I will say this much though: if Chargers win this game, you can lock them up for the playoffs. Lock them up at that point. They'll lock into the at least the 6th seed because they're running away with the wild card. Also, Jim Harbaugh, Coach of the Year, candidate at least. He's a candidate.
Oh, he's definitely a candidate.
Yeah, because everybody that had this team not being this good.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's tough. I mean, they had a star-studded team. Even
though
you lose the 2 wide receivers, he's supposed to be a top 5 quarterback. So
top 10, not top 5.
I don't know. A lot of these ESPN guys put him top 5.
They need to slow down because he's underwhelmed. He really has. All right,
exactly.
but I got the Bengals though too. All right, final game. Monday Football. Battle of Texas. Texans at Cowboys. The Texans are 7.5-point favorites. The over/under is 42.
Texas is going to roll out with nobody at wide receiver and still cover the spread. That's it. All right, give me the Texans.
You know,
nobody wants to watch.
I'm tempted to actually take the Cowboys on the points here, just because at home. But
do you know what they've done at home?
0-4.
Get embarrassed.
Exactly. So I'm going to take the over in this game. Actually, I'm scared to take Houston because Houston's been underwhelming too this year as well. Even though they're a good, they're a tier 2 team, they've been underwhelming this year. So, best bet though is the over. Is the over in this one. So there's that. All right. Quick FSU minute. Again, another bye week. Thank God.
Yes.
Thank God. This team's fucking terrible.
There is no team in Division I football I think we could beat. Honest to God.
Honestly, I'm there. I'm so there.
I would worry about us playing an Ivy League school right now. So.
Yeah. The end of the year against Southern Methodist and then against Florida. And
then the coach is fired. So.
Do you think they fire Norvell?
You have to fire this dude.
There
is no excuse that you can justify where you keep a guy after the worst season in the history of the school. You have to clean house.
I don't think I've ever seen a team go from 13-0 and in the very next year go 1-9.
Yeah, and you're telling me it's all because of a quarterback?
Can't be because of quarterback. I don't know, but anyway. Also, before we get you out here, quick reaction to the second installment of the college football playoff 12. You see on the screen here. Division 12. We got number 1 Oregon, 2 Ohio State, 3 Texas, 4 Penn State. That'll be the buys in this scenario. 5 Indiana, 6 BYU, 7 Tennessee, 8 Notre Dame, 9 Miami, 10 Alabama, 11 Ole Miss, and number 12 Georgia. That's weird. Georgia being that low. I understand why, but this is weird seeing it. Any thoughts on this?
Look, I'm happy to see the Pac-12 unofficially be represented at number 1. And I'm happy that the ACC can even put up a team.
We said unofficially, right?
Unofficially, because
of course,
technically Big Ten now. Bullshit.
Yeah. Any problem with this list though? Any of the top 12? Any issue?
I mean, Penn State has literally beat nobody, but they're gonna lose, so I don't have to really worry about that. They'll probably end up being like the 11 or 12 seed by the time it's over with.
And not only that, Penn State also, first off, the 4 seed, the top 4 teams, when it's all said and done, won't be 2 Big Ten teams. It'll be a Big 12 team there as well too. You know what I mean? There'll be each conference represented. The 4 conferences, of course: Big 12, SEC, ACC, Big 10. Georgia, I understand why they're low. BYU feels a little too high. I get it why they're there. It's a cool story, Miami's too high, in my opinion. That one loss was bad enough. They didn't play anybody this year. I think, look, Miami, and I know people will say, oh, I'm shitting on Miami all the time, whatever. No. Miami will lose. Miami will lose. The three teams behind them, 10, 11, 12, will lose. Miami will lose those teams. Alabama, Ole Miss, and Georgia will beat Miami right now.
So would Penn State. Penn State would lose to all three, and I actually think Miami would beat Penn State.
Think so?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like, that's how fraudulent Penn State is.
Yeah.
And let's not overlook the fact that Colorado's there. So,
Oh, Colorado's number.
Oh, Colorado's not. My bad.
Wait, you sure not there? Let me see.
Well, I'm looking at the colors. It looked like Colorado. My bad.
It's not there. I'm a little surprised there because on the AP, they're actually number 17 and number 18 this week. No, they are there. 17.
What?
They should be there.
Oh, sorry. It was Notre Dame. Is that Notre Dame?
8? Yeah. Notre Dame at 8.
Yeah.
That's a little too high also, too, but that's just me.
Man, it's a tiny little square, all right? I'm just looking at it, and it's tiny. The top 4 is fine. Penn State's too high, in my opinion. I would put Indiana ahead of Penn State at this point. But, again, I know why they have it that way because they played more better teams. But I move Penn State down a little bit. I move Indiana down. I put Tennessee ahead of I put Tennessee ahead of both those teams, actually, honestly. But yeah, I get it. I guess my thing is more so than anything else. Give me over under. I'm gonna put it over under at 4. 4 SEC teams make the well, you know what? 3.5. Put the number 3.5. 3.5 SEC teams make the college playoff. What do you got? Oh, I'd take the over.
Okay.
There's no way at least 4. And they will really be working hard to fit a 5th in.
Yeah. I can see a 3-loss Georgia team getting shoehorned in.
Yeah.
Because of the product, of course. So anyway, that's all I got to say. Anyway, Zach, good luck with your picks. Hopefully your shake, you get the first one of the year.
Hey, man.
We actually this week didn't get a lot of agreement either. So we shall see how that plays out.
I'm about to start trying to tank just to win a game. I think that might work.
Anything can work. So anyway, good job by you, buddy.
All right.
Later, buddy. All right, on the line with us now, of course, friend of the podcast, co-host with me, of course, on Huddle Up Podcast, 3CT Pod, Matthew Mueliesen, Mr. Philly himself. What's up, buddy?
I'm doing well. Been on the road for a while. I feel like you and I haven't had the chance to banter for
it's been a while,
like a month now. So
I missed Huddle Up yesterday rather.
Yeah,
so
my first week back, you weren't there.
Yeah, I was alone in the weather yesterday, man. I'm still feeling a little iffy today, but
it's that time of year.
Keep pushing. Yeah. But tomorrow's game, tonight when this podcast comes out, Eagles Commanders, huge game. I've been looking for this game for weeks because obviously the story is of this season so far, at least is the Commanders, one of the big stories, and their fast start at 7-3. But people always ask me, well, are they the favorites to win the East? I'm like, slow up there. I got to see them beat teams or play teams on level or better than them. They looked okay against Steelers last week. They should have won that game. I thought against Pittsburgh. But again, I'm a diehard Eagles hater for years. You're talking about almost 40 years and counting. But it is what it is. You call for what you see, and this Eagles team on paper is, in my opinion, the most talented team in football, probably. And to me, their issues are always internal. Mm-hmm. It's not a talent issue; it's an internal issue. And it seems like right now, in the last 5 weeks, since that bye week, that things are okay now. I mean, do you agree with that?
Since the haircut, yeah. Sirianni shaved his head.
Yeah.
Things changed. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of one of those things, because you're right. I mean, the issues are internal, but I mean, it's kind of the chicken and the egg thing, right? Like, are the issues happening because they're not playing up to where they feel they could, or are they not playing up to where they feel they could because of the issues? They seem to go hand in hand with the Eagles, and a lot of that gets pointed to Sirianni, and he's the head coach. He's the one that has to answer to those things. Yeah. So I think that's kind of always going to be there. You and I have talked. Philly media is always going to pull something out of nothing if they can. If Pickett had thrown for a touchdown in Dallas when he came in relief, I guarantee WIP would have had a poll who should be the Eagles' starting quarterback moving forward, Pickett or Hurts? So like
on brand.
that's always going to be a part of it too. That and I don't follow other markets closely enough to know if it's like that. I'm sure New York gets it. The LA market, certainly for basketball, always got it in terms of they find the tiniest thread to pull on, and the Philly market does that. So but you and I talked before the season, and I've said it, if the injury bug didn't hit the Eagles, and knock on wood, there's a couple weeks where it did, and you saw what happened against Tampa Bay when you're missing your top two receivers, your starting right tackle. I think Goddard was out for half that game too. Like, they're not going to win many games if they're missing those, but they have the arsenal, they have the weapons that on paper they should be able to beat teams, and they're starting to do that a little bit more convincingly. The Jags game, I think, was a bit of an anomaly because of the atrocious fumble that they called a fumble, which clearly wasn't a fumble, but the student of the game says otherwise, so who am I to argue? Love you, Kyle.
Yeah. So like obviously he's been a little bit of like under pressure the last, say the last in the last year and going to this year, and certainly the first couple of weeks. What is the vibe now in Philly with Sirianni? Has things tempered down a little bit now since the 5-game winning streak?
I mean, the wins, I think that was always kind of the recipe for what's going to turn that around. You're looking at a season where they started 10-1 and then just absolutely collapsed last year. As much as this season's a new season and there's a lot of changes in personnel, that's still going to be on the minds of a lot of people. So I mean, it's Philly, right? Things are good until they're not. So, I mean, I think people are still kind of saying that they win in spite of Sirianni. I think that, Sean and I have voiced kind of those frustrations that we still see with him, where I think his issue is he was kind of an out there hire at the time, right? No one really knew much about Sirianni. It was kind of like, okay, Eagles are trying to shake things up. And I think he's always kind of had that, like, it wasn't a well-received hire by the media, and it wasn't a well-received hire by the fan base. There were questions, there were concerns, who are we bringing in to do this? And I think he's always just tried to prove himself. And sometimes he goes beyond what he needs to do to prove himself. He's got to be the smartest guy in the room. He's got to be the one that makes the decisions that, other coaches wouldn't. And we're starting to see it a little bit more now. I mean, look at Dan Campbell in Detroit. I had the same philosophy. You go for the win at all costs, and it's working until it isn't. Dan Campbell was beloved by everyone until that NFC Championship game, and then we started to hear some questions of, why would you do this? Why would you do that? And the recipe that got him there is the one he stayed with, and that one game it didn't work. And I think Sirianni is kind of the same way.
Which I kind of respect, though, because it is the first personality of his team, and some degree, same to the Eagles. Like, that's just what the personality is. Like he believes in a squad until the wheels fall off, and I respect that. But you also got to reel that in some degree sometimes. And I guess some of the things some of the behavior things also I think is what.
He definitely rubs people the wrong way. And I see that. I mean, if he was the coach of the Giants or the Cowboys, I would probably be like, what's with this guy?
Of course.
But it's hard to score points in the NFL. So I think that's kind of the frustration at times when the points are there for the taking, and he tries to get creative at that point. That's where it's more like, because almost saw it in the Jacksonville game. Despite the calls being what they were, there was multiple times where he left points on the field for seemingly no reason than to just try to get style points. You saw it in the Atlanta game multiple times where they left points, and that one came back to cost them. So if you see 2 or 3 more of those happen, then I think that the voices will get a little bit louder in opposition of Nick.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because that's my next question. So what would be the barometer for Sirianni? Like, he has to get to this point. I'm not sitting here saying right now he's under pressure. I'm sure things are tempered now, but there's the expectation of this Eagles team to have to get to at least a certain level to sustain your job. I mean, this is arguably the best roster in football, arguably.
For sure.
What would be considered a failure to where the front office would say, may have to let go?
Yeah, I mean, obviously missing the playoffs, that conversation is an easy one. If you have this talented roster, and barring barring injuries too.
Yeah.
I'll throw that in there because if something were to happen, to one of your key players, then there's not much you can do about that. We've seen teams, in spite of that, we saw it happen with the Eagles when Wentz went down and Foles stepped up. But the difference between Carson Wentz and Nick Foles and the difference between Jalen Hurts and Kenny Pickett is night and day. So if Hurts goes down and he coaches Pickett to the playoffs, then you lock him up for another season or two beyond. But I would say missing the playoffs, I'd say a first round exit. Those are probably the conversations where we're going to see changes be made. If they make it to the NFC Championship game, lose a tight one, I think that we still see him come back next year. If they get blown out, then I think that's a conversation.
So I think the circumstances and context, circumstances have to matter there also too. But to your point, I think that definitely that. This Commander seems to scare you, right?
I mean, the last few weeks, what I've seen him, and I know, there's still the chest injury.
There's the ribs,
he's not at 100%. So,
right.
If he was, I think that then it would be a little bit more, what we're seeing is concerning because, the Bears game where they actually absolutely broke the Bears spirit. The Bears were the team in the conversation with the Commanders of like, this is a fun story. And then it just, that Hail Mary happened and the Bears were like, welp, never mind. But I mean, that game, and then you have the Pittsburgh game, and that's a home loss too. I think that we've seen some of the cracks in Washington. The first few weeks when Daniel's just kind of starting out, you don't have a ton of tape and film on him at an NFL level. You know what he did in college, but that's night and day too. So I think teams are starting to figure out a little bit, but at the same time, it's a divisional rival. Washington always plays Philly tough. They were the first loss for the team, a couple years ago with Heineke. So I'm never going to overlook the Commanders just because that's one of those teams that no matter what the two teams are, where they are, the Eagles and the Commanders always just seem to give each other fits for some reason.
Yeah, the problem is short week. You're asking a lot. Short week. I'm not saying traveling far. It's like 1 hour, away, 2 hours away from between these two teams. But short week. You just play a tough Steelers team. It's going to be beat up coming into this week.
And the Eagles starters got to rest for most of the fourth quarter. Then against Dallas, I think that was massive too. I just think that the writing's on the wall here for Commanders. Like to me, even if they're competitive in this game, I'll take a lot positive from Washington if they're even competitive this game. Because I feel like win this game pretty comfortably, to be honest with you. 3.5 points would be nice. I mean, to me, for them to lose this game, it would be internal again. It'd be a Sirianni decision here, and that's not good. But I think Philly should win this game comfortably. That's this. They should. It's at the link. I mean, it's something that they should be.
And Jalen Hurts is playing the football. Jalen Hurts has been very clean. With no picks. Maybe one pick.
He had some mistakes against the Cowboys. He threw a pick in the end zone.
Okay,
then he fumbled as well. I mean, those were the two turnovers that he's had in the last 6 games.
Yeah, so. But beyond that, because before that, because before the winning streak, I think he had one turnover for like 9 straight games. I think it was.
This is a lot.
It's piling up.
Yeah, still would like to see him, throw the ball away a little bit more. I feel like he holds on to the ball too long in the pocket sometimes. But he's making the decision to scramble a little bit more quickly now, which is nice to see. It's just he holds on to it a little bit too long sometimes, and that's where the issues come. But otherwise, you're right. I mean, he started bad against Dallas, but then he really flipped the switch and played fantastic football the rest of the way there.
Yeah, he did. He did definitely. Let's talk Sixers.
Yeah.
We'll start. Ugh.
And that's kind of where what we talked about with the Eagles. If health isn't a factor, you have high hopes for the team. But Joel's played 1 game. PG's played 3. Maxie's missed quite a bit of time. So it's tough for me to really gauge where this team is this early in the season with them starting the way they did. Would have liked to see some of the wins, but when you're missing two of your big three, if not all three of them, as was the case as of airing yesterday against Cleveland, that's on a back-to-back. It's just not a recipe for success.
Right.
So, it's tough to say what really is going to be the Sixers season. I think we're probably not going to see the big three together until Christmas, unfortunately.
That long?
I think Maxi's out 3 to 5 weeks. So
that long?
Yeah. Oof. That's what I'd heard.
And this is what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
I was saying to myself when we did the preview with Zach and Chris, I've had the under on the Eagles, on the Sixers, because of I just don't know if those three guys will play enough games together to get them to 51 plus wins.
Right.
Now, are they a playoff team? Yeah, they'll get there because I think
they can at least get to the 10 spot and make the play in.
Yeah. Well, look, Matt, if you told me that right now in the middle of November that the Bucks will be 3-8 and the Sixers will be 2-8 right now, currently, I would have said, get the fuck out of here. That's not gonna happen. But right here,
I think the Bucks is a little bit more puzzling to me because they're
healthy.
They're healthy, yeah. I mean, well, Middleton's missed some time, right?
Middleton's always missing time. You got to make that in. Always, he's always missed time. That's. But the thing is, though,
but they also have Doc Rivers.
That's true. That's very true. You know about that. But the thing is, the reason why I wouldn't worry about these two teams long term, and specifically Philadelphia, is that look, you have like teams like so the Nets are 5-6. Cool story. They'll get out of there at some point. Detroit's 5-7, Atlanta 5-7, Chicago 4-7. Those teams at some point will start to become their true selves, which will allow Milwaukee and Philadelphia to rise.
Right. You look at those teams. You look at like Washington. Right. They're going to falter. Charlotte as well.
Charlotte as well. So the question is going to be now: can you avoid the play-in? Because you don't want to be playing the play-in like last year. Like when you lost Embiid, Embiid went from being literally the MVP leader last year, and the Sixers I think would have 1 or 2 seed in the East, to then falling apart, and Embiid gets back, and you guys make the play-in just because Embiid got back. So you don't want to fall off the wagon. I think Philadelphia will be fine overall. Mm-hmm. Something to watch going forward, but yeah, it's a bad start though. It's a bad start. I mean,
it is. Yeah, it's less than ideal for sure. I think there was a lot of hype going into this season just because you have the big three now. I liked what I've seen out of some of the bench pieces though in this absence. We get to kind of get a feel. Jared McCain's looking like a bona fide star for him so far. Might be one of those nice surprises that you got in the draft. I know there was a lot of question marks around taking him, but he's starting to shoot like we thought he would, like he did at Duke. So that's encouraging to see.
I want to talk to you about Joel Embiid, but before we do that, I want to play a clip of last night's Inside the NBA, which Shaq made some really sharp comments about Embiid.
Sure.
Check it out. Play here.
I say this respectfully. Joel Embiid will never win a championship until he gets his mind and his attitude right. He can never come out and say I'm not playing the back-to-back. That's
8 points all from the strut.
All right, your thoughts, buddy.
So that quote gets brought up a lot. The back-to-back thing, and for the life of me, Jay, I've looked tirelessly to find the full quote, and I cannot find it. And we know how words can get twisted.
Context matters, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I don't know what the question was that was asked to him. I know he said, ideally, I wouldn't play back-to-backs, or I would never play back-to-backs again when asked about, how to make yourself a long-term fixture. But, it's nothing new. That's more so what confuses me is that, the Stars not playing back-to-backs, this isn't the first time that's happened.
Yeah.
And I'm just genuinely curious why, when Philly does it, that's when it's the issue. Like, take the process, for instance. It was an issue for everyone, but no one has said a word about what Oklahoma City did. No one has said a word about what Utah is doing now, what Houston did. All the framework for the process is similar to what those franchises did or are doing. And you see how it worked out for Oklahoma City. And there was no Colangelos being forced on the franchise or anything like that. Just kind of got stuck with it. So, I don't know. It's tough to really say too much about it just because I don't know the full context of the quote, but I admit the optics aren't great for that.
Let's catch up here real quick. No, I think I don't know if there's a heel turn going in Philadelphia with pertaining to Embiid, but there's a sense of frustration, I think, because of the fact that he misses a lot of games. He started his career missing the first 2 years of basketball. So I get the frustration to some degree. And you see that comment also too on top of that. You know, I gotta be honest with you, like it is frustrating as a fan, as a basketball fan, to see that, because then because I don't know if he's number one, I don't know if he's trolling or not. But then he said last night he's kind of trolling and all that. But then you wonder, okay, so are you ready to be the next? Are you focused to be on a championship guy? Are you focused on being, you know, just the sense of like him feeling, I don't know if entitled's the right word, but there's a frustration there. I sense a lot of fans, even Philadelphia fans, with him, that he's just not focused enough, I guess. I don't know, man. I love the guy. I think the guy is great.
Yeah,
I think he's a phenomenal player. I have said he is probably the most pure talented center I've ever seen play basketball.
Yeah.
But something's just
I get it. I mean, he's played through multiple injuries in the playoffs. Like, it's hard for me to discount that. I also know that there's just kind of that whole get off my lawn vibe with a lot of the former players. Like,
this is true.
I feel like Chuck and Shaq and PP, like they talk more shit than they give praise, and for whatever reason, if it's, you know, because people talk about this era of basketball in a more romantic way than they do in their era of basketball, to kind of knock that down a few pegs. You know, whatever the reason may be, that I always kind of take that with a grain of salt, because I can't remember, like, Shaq and Charles, like they switch gears on Joel constantly.
Yeah,
you know, one week they give him high praise, best basketball player ever. Next week they're like, this guy's just, body language is poor. He's never going to win. He's not a leader. Like, it's night and day with them. So but I do understand the criticism. I think it's valid. I just don't know what else he's supposed to do, because, you know, he's always hurt. Okay, well, now I'm going to try to take better care of myself. And part of that is this conditioning, not playing back-to-backs. Oh, well, now he's lazy. So, like, you know, what's the guy supposed to do?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think the fear too also is that he's 29 years old.
Yes. Well, I think he just turned 30.
Right.
Maybe. Yeah.
Here's the worry here too also, and I think Giannis also fits this category too to some degree, but more so Embiid because of the injuries. His championship window is very small.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Because, you know, when you talk about the injuries and stuff and his style of play, he might have no more than 2-year window as a top guy to get a title. And you look at the rest of the Eastern Conference, for example, Boston is not going to suck for a while. I mean, hate to say it, they'll be good for a long time. You know, let's get this Cleveland thing. Let's wait a little while see this thing goes with Cleveland. New York, we'll see. It is fun, but I'm still.
New York's going to be good for a while because the NBA needs New York to be good for a while.
Of course, yeah. So Philadelphia is now dealing with, you know, the Sixers had a chance a year or two to really get, not even say win a title, but at least get themselves into the top four, you know, Final Four. And every time they had a chance to get into that conversation, it never happened. Right. And now teams in the East are starting to rise up now. The West obviously be tough no matter why you slice it. So the amount of there's a lot more friction now around them than there has been in the Embiid era. And I feel like at this point, barring him staying healthy and, you know, PG and Maxey, I mean, right now, just figure it out as a threesome. I don't know if I see them getting to the conference finals anytime soon, unless they get a break or two. I just don't see it at this point because of the injuries, the environment, and it's all the things around them. It's getting harder. It really is. I hate to say it.
No, yeah. I mean, the window for any championship team is small.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that this is the kind of their best chance at it, and the core they have there is there for the next 4 years at least. So, you know, I think that this year is not off to a great start, but we'll see how the rest of the season plays out when health kind of isn't a factor, hopefully. But if not, I mean, you have to run it back next year.
Maybe we should bring back Ben Simmons.
I mean, I campaigned for that early on. I honestly did.
You did?
I did, yeah. For Ben Simmons, to me, as a even a backup 4, that's Ben Simmons that I would want on the 76ers. You don't need him to shoot. You don't need him to do anything but facilitate and play the dunker spot and play lights out defense. If there's not a pressure on him to build an outside form, then I don't think that he would struggle like he did. But that was before the season started.
Yeah.
And then the season started, and man, it's almost sad to watch him play these days, because he used to be so much fun. Like his rookie season, when he was rookie of the year, LeBron was saying this is going to be the next me.
I was saying that.
That drop off is it's just wild. And I don't know what it is, honestly. I don't does he just not really care about the game? He never really gave the vibes that he loved the sport.
You know what's funny though too about that is that we were here. I know I was hearing that rhetoric way back from even up to his rookie year,
college.
Yeah, that he doesn't really care about
LSU,
basketball. Yeah. He's just doing it because for the money and just because of the fame. And we were hearing that all way back when. And then first couple of years, okay, he's really good, but because it's another level. And then everything played the way he did, and it's a sad story.
That next step, yeah.
I
mean, it's great because he was that good without seemingly caring about the sport. Can you imagine how good he would have been if he cared? And again, not to say that he doesn't, but he doesn't give the impression that he does.
So if you're still on the Ben Simmons train, you can get him for cheap probably next year.
Probably, yeah.
He is a free agent.
I'm all about the Philly retreads. I wouldn't mind seeing Markelle back in a backup guard position for the team. And I wouldn't mind seeing Simmons back in the right position for the team. So yeah, vet minimum, Ben Simmons next year.
Yeah.
Backup 4.
That's all he's worth at this point, really.
Yeah. Why not?
It couldn't hurt. I mean, at this point, given the big salaries right now already on the team anyway, that's all he probably could afford. Right. So I'm all for it. But man, he may be out of the league this year, though. To be honest with you, I really can see that. He could either be on the Sixers playing on a vet minimum, or out of the league.
Just out of the league.
Yeah, out of the league. It's that big a spectrum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Phillies, man. I didn't talk shit. You know, I talked shit that series.
I know you didn't.
I probably should have, though.
You should have.
No, how you are? Yeah.
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 Definitely should have. You definitely could have.
Yeah.
I mean, they ran into the same thing that was the issue last year. And that was always my critique of the Phillies is, you go to the World Series run that they had. That team was, they were still hitting home runs, but they were playing smart baseball. And that's why they got as far as they did. These past 2 seasons, it's when they get down by a run, it's like every single person's mindset is, I got to hit a home run when I go up. And that's not a recipe for success.
Right.
And the bullpen, one of the strongest bullpens all season just kind of collapsed there in the postseason, which was more concerning. And obviously what led to the demise more so than the offense, because the starting pitching kept the Phillies in the game.
Sure did.
Every game.
Wheeler was dealing.
Wheeler was phenomenal. It's a shame that they didn't give him more run support in that game, which was basically a bullpen game for the Mets. It was, but that was kind of that thing, they saw, we got to score runs, so home run time, and strike out, ground out to the pitcher. Half the balls didn't leave the infield. So they really need to make a change in their hitting coach, I would say, at some point, just to kind of preach patience. But the roster that they have is one that should be able to win, even without having a 5th starter. I think that the top 4 in their rotation is good enough to compete with any team in baseball.
Yeah, I was really stunned just how I guess I say bad how bad the bullpen was. I thought they were the most complete team in baseball outside, even more than the Dodgers, because I feel like that was the one team that had every base covered in terms of hitting, in terms of pitching, in terms of just all the things you need to make them a great team. They had the most balance in the National League, at least, and to see them just, I don't know if I want to say melt down, because it was a competitive series for the most part, game to game, but just to see that flip like that, it's like, wow, I was shocked.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there were 4 people in the bullpen that, all season you're like, oh, they're coming in, game's over. And when they won in 08, that's kind of what we enjoyed. It was Romero, Lidge, Hoffman, or no, sorry, Romero, Lidge, and Madsen.
Right.
And like 7, 8, 9, you knew no runs were going to be scored. Game was over. If the Phillies had the lead in the 7th, the Phillies were winning that game. And that was kind of how it was during the regular season. But then those guys like our Madsen, our Romero, our Lidge, they turned into 2009 Brad Lidge, giving up home runs every other appearance.
So those late 2000 Phillies teams scared me though. Jimmy Rollins and Ryan Howard.
Yeah, I mean those teams had the offense that knew Rollins and Utley could hit home runs, but they understood the assignment was to get on base because Ryan Howard's behind me.
Yeah.
And Pat Burrell's behind him. Like that, the teams now, I feel like as it's constructed, the lineup is just so wonky that it's tough for who do you even put in those spots?
But the thing is, though, they're good enough to win. They're good enough to win a title because I mean, I just think he ran into a buzzsaw with the Mets. The Mets got hot.
The Mets were the hottest team in baseball for sure.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, you went to a buzzsaw.
It's the one team I didn't want to see. When Alonso hit that home run in the 9th against the Brewers, I was like,
oh my God, yeah.
Shit, here we are. Because I think the Phillies handle the Brewers easily, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that's a 4-game series at most. And then the Phillies had the Dodgers number pretty much all year. So kind of a toss-up if they get to that point.
I mean, we got to see what happens obviously in free agency. We're not, and I mean, anything can happen with the Mets, especially 2-1. Soto maybe goes there, but right now, I still have the Phillies a favorite to win the East. Still,
yeah. Atlanta's kind of always battling injuries. I think last year was the first year that they didn't just overcome the injuries that they got plagued with every other year that they do. And
it's still in the playoffs anyway, but lost in the first round. But
yeah, sad to see. So yeah, I mean, Atlanta's probably going to be up there. I mean, the Mets had their injuries that they dealt with too. So I think that the NL East is going to be a fun division these next couple of years here.
Always. Looking forward to the fight on Friday, Mike Tyson, Jake Paul?
I am, yeah. I've been looking forward to it for a while. And I'm not a huge boxing person. I used to be. I think, towards the end of Mayweather's stuff is where it's really started to lost a ton of interest. I mean, I watch it religiously in the Olympics, but that's really it. But I was always an Iron Mike fan. Growing up, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, still a top 3 video game for me.
I love that game, dude. I can never get past the fourth guy, I think, in the game.
Yeah. I mean, I have a signed Punch Out picture in my living room.
Do you?
It's
nice.
It's like my prized possession. So I've been looking forward to this for some time, and I was just checking the lines earlier, and I saw that you're getting 250 odds with Mike to win by KO, plus 1100 to win by decision. He's the dog.
It's a big dog too. Wow.
Right. I mean, he's damn near 60, but still, you watch the videos of him training, he hasn't lost any speed, and he certainly hasn't lost any muscle.
No.
So we'll see.
A lot of that videos though too is propaganda as well. Let's be real.
Sure.
It's all edited. That stuff's edited and stuff.
Sped up a bit. But I mean, It'll be interesting, and I'm very curious to see how this one ends.
I'm going to be honest with you. Like, if you asked me this back in July, I would have said, "Oh, I love Tyson's chance to win this fight." Now today, I'm not as confident. Like, I feel like I watched the face-off between him and Jake. I'm like, Jake's a big dude.
Yeah,
a big dude. I didn't realize how big he was. I saw that
first heavyweight fight, though, too. I mean, I think that's going to play a large portion in Mike potentially winning. He has to take advantage of Jake not being used to fighting people that size before.
Right.
I mean, he's sparred with him, he's trained with him, but like to actually be in the ring with a guy that wants to go out on top, I think that it's going to be a whole different animal.
And then there's the obvious question too: is this fight really legit? Is this really on up and up? I mean, I don't know how you feel about that.
It's tough for me to say, just because like Tyson doesn't need the money. I know he struggled with that for some time, but he's out of debt. And he's got the ability to have endorsements and appearances and what. It's not like he has to do this for a financial purpose. So if he's doing this for pride, it's tough for me to say that it's not on the up and up, at least on his end. You know what? What Jake does, that's on Jake. Whether he trained for it or was just looking for the payday, looking for the notoriety, saying I got in the ring with Mike Tyson. I could see that being more the case than anything else.
I don't know, man. I'm worried about Jake winning this fight. Honestly, like, I don't know, man.
I won't hate it, but I would be surprised if Tyson's not going into this like guns blazing.
So if you had to pick right now, who wins the fight? Who are you picking?
I know they're shorter rounds, so that's why I think it will go longer. But I'm going to take Tyson in the 5th.
Is this a 12? Is this a 10-round fight? 12?
I think it's 8 2 minutes or 10 2 minutes. I know it's 2 minutes.
Okay.
And it's not the full 12.
Okay.
I think it's 8 or 10 rounds, but I know it's 2 minutes, not 3.
I'll go Tyson because that's what I want. And I might even bet on the value just because of the value.
I might too. Like, I mean, those are nice odds to just take a flyer on.
Yeah. I'll go Mike because I'm a fan like you are, old school fan. So why not?
Yeah.
One last thing to get you out of here. You mentioned earlier you want to talk about Disney.
Yeah. Talk to me about the new system, man. I don't
know because everything is changing. Like even when I went back there in April, and I've gone back there actually since I went back in August with my kids before school started. But everything's changing. They're changing the whole system up. They're changing up the special needs stuff now, where like you have to provide a doctor and all this stuff, and have an advocate there to because like there's a thing where like if people who have ADHD or special needs, like they can advance in the line,
right?
But a lot of people will take advantage of that, and therefore they changed the rules up this summer with that, and not a very popular rule for the record. So like for example, my oldest kid has ADHD, so we got approved for that because of for him, but it takes a lot to get through that system.
Sure.
So
yeah,
I mean I don't know, man, and they're raising the prices too every so often. Like my wife has passes. Well, we all have passes, but she goes all the time. She goes like once a month at this point now, and like so she gets the value of this whole thing though. But yeah, it's crazy. It's like I'm questioning whether to keep my passes for next year for me and the kids. She'll keep hers because she goes all the time. But I don't know. I mean, I love going there because once we're there, I feel great. But
yeah,
I don't know if it's worth the value anymore for me. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
So, I mean, you and I had talked last year leading up because we were going around the same time then.
Right.
And at that point, Expedition Everest was still your number one, right? Prior to your visit?
The rock, you mean favorite ride, you mean?
Favorite ride, yeah.
It was Rock and Roller Coaster.
Okay, it was Rock and Roller Coaster.
And then that changed now because of the Guardians.
I was going to say,
the Guardians ride.
Is your top ride even still in your top 3 now?
It's still top 3, yeah. Cause I went on again actually in August, and
okay, and it holds up.
It was still great. It's still amazing. I went twice actually on that day. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it was closed when I was there, but I mean I've ridden it before and big fan of the Rock and Roller Coaster.
I did finally do Tower of Terror though for the first time.
First time.
I don't know if you did it yet.
Yeah.
So I feel like a complete asshole now because like the ride was easy.
Yeah.
It was so easy. The thing is, I don't like drops. So when I heard about what the ride was, like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And then what happened was that when we went, I think the time you guys went, back in April, my wife and kids did it because my kids wanted to do it, and my wife didn't want to do it either, but she do it because the kids kept begging to do it. She's like, okay, well, fine, we'll do it. I stayed away. I let those three do it, and they loved it. And she said, oh, it's better than I thought. Still scary, but. And then I decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna grow some balls here and just do this. So when we went in August, I did the ride. I remember thinking, that's it.
Yeah.
I was so mad at myself. I waited 30-something years to do this ride, and all of a sudden, like, I love the ride. Like, I wasted all this time being scared about this ride, and all this, and I love the ride.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It's a shame because I mean I love the ride. We went to California and did the Disneyland parks when my daughter was 2.
Yeah.
Just because you can do those in 2 days.
Yeah.
And the tower there is a Guardians of the Galaxy one. And it's super fun. Like the music's playing, the Guardians are all there. It's a Marvel themed ride. And so it's funny. The music feels good. So then going from that back to the original Tower of Terror, and I was underwhelmed then. I was like, this isn't as fun, which was sad because love Tower of Terror, but it doesn't live up to the California one now.
I mean, another ride I love also, but I haven't done in a very long time because I haven't gone to that park in a while. Everest in Animal Kingdom.
Okay,
phenomenal ride, but I've done it so long. But I've done at least 10 years at least.
Yeah.
Because I haven't gone to Animal Kingdom in a long time. Every time I go up there, we always go to Magic Kingdom for the kids, or we go to Hollywood Studios because we want to do the stuff we like.
Yeah, so, I mean, you got to do the Avatar stuff for sure.
I haven't done it yet. That's next on the list. That's next on the list.
The river journey thing that they have, and then the Flight of Passage, both are a ton of fun.
And that's Animal Kingdom, right?
Yeah, for us though, I mean, it was fun for my wife and I. But our daughter was 5 at the time, 4 actually, and so Animal Kingdom, like the safari ride was cool for her.
That's fun. I did that before. Yeah,
she liked the boat ride, but other than that, she can't really do anything. She's not tall enough for Everest. I'm not going to take her on Dinosaur and absolutely ruin.
So how'd you guys manage to do the rides with and without her? Like,
just ride swap.
Okay, so what if you want to do a big ride? One, watch a kid, and
we did solo stuff. Like I would take her to meet characters while my wife was doing Dinosaur, and then we'd swap. And so we did that at Disneyland too. But she's starting to get she's fine with most stuff. Dinosaur, Everest.
Wait, she did Everest?
No, those are just the rides that she's too short for.
But okay.
She did Slinky Dog Dash. She did the Mine Train. She did Big Thunder Mountain. Like, she loves the speed, the fast rides.
So she does like roller coasters.
She likes that.
That's awesome.
But the loud noise is what bothers her. So she loved all of those rides. Hated Pirates of the Caribbean because of all the cannons firing and stuff.
And that's right. That ride's easy. It's just
I know.
There's one little drop and that's it.
One little drop, but it was
a nice drop though.
It was the battleships and the gunshots. That was what she did not enjoy about it. So headphones next time for sure. She'll still ride it, but she's more into speed. So as she gets older and taller too,
she'll grow out of that too. Also, I think it's one of those shock value things. And once she gets older, she'll do it. I mean, the Pirates Caribbean ride is so easy.
Oh yeah,
to me that's like a cooling off period. Honestly,
I mean, we're almost to the point now. I think we're going to be like a Universal family for a few years. When she hits that 10 to 14, she's probably not going to want to do Disney as often as thrill rides.
I mean, if she's getting into roller coasters, and that's the sell. Yeah.
So we're trying to fit in a trip or two before that magic's gone, and she wants to do the thrill rides, and we're going to Universal, which it will be fine, but Disney kind of has that magic that it's cool to see through her eyes for now. But then, so we're trying to capture that as much as
we thought about getting Universal passes at one point, but you haven't gone in a long time. Last time I went to Universal was a honeymoon actually.
Oh wow!
I just realized that's 13 years ago. Holy crap! No, and that's when the Harry Potter ride just opened. We were just that year, and we didn't get a chance to go on any rides there because it was so crowded.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah. So next time I'll do that. But when are you going to Disney again?
So we're aiming for June, first week of June. schools up here get out a little earlier
than
a lot of others. So we're trying to fit it in before it gets super hot, super rainy there in June too. So we'll see. But yeah, our plan is first week of June.
Little delay here. Buffering. 1 second.
It's the security van.
All right, let's fix that quick. A little delay here. You there now?
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah. Hold on. Come on. Still delay here. All right, back here. There you go. Sorry.
There
you go. Yeah. No, so you say you're going to be in June, you said?
First week of June, yeah.
Yeah,
my parents live down like 45 minutes outside.
They're in Florida?
Yeah, they're half the year they're in Florida, half the year they're at the beach. In Delaware. So but last time we just flew down. They picked us up. We spent the day with them at their house, and then they dropped us at the parks. So
okay,
going to do something like that again this year.
That's cool. I should be up there on the same time in Tampa, but that's like an hour away from Orlando. So
yeah, we'll
be up there. Yeah, definitely meet up with something.
Meet up, have a drink or something.
Absolutely. Anyway, anyone to plug?
Yeah. So you can hear me on Tuesdays for the most part on the Huddle Up podcast. I do a lot of traveling in the fall, but I'm back the rest of the year now. So
you are. About damn time, slacker.
Yeah, I know. You can hear Tuesdays and Thursdays on the 3CT podcast. Thursdays, the wrestling show. Tuesdays, the potpourri, talk about mainly food, but anything else that might come to mind.
I'll be honest, I haven't watched a lot of wrestling lately.
Me neither.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So how do you keep up with what's going on?
I mean, I still follow along with like the stories, the storylines through Twitter, through Blue Sky, through whatever's going to be posting most of the kind of stuff. And Jim keeps us posted on stuff too as the host.
Yeah.
So, for the most part, I know what's going on. Thursday's the wrestling show, and then Maximize Monday on Mondays. You can check me out too.
Yeah, it is also for me also too. Before we get out of here, this is the worst time of year to watch wrestling for me because now everything is back. Wrestling's back. Not wrestling. I'm sorry. Basketball's back. Football is right now in cruise control. Hockey, you name it. It was an election year too on top of that. So
Premier League's going strong.
Yeah, exactly. So there's so much going on. So I don't really get back into wrestling to probably around January, Royal Rumble season.
The Rumble, yeah.
Yeah. Once the Rumble comes around, I'm like, okay, now
a week or two leading up to the Rumble for sure. I watch it a lot more, and then that through whenever Mania is. But
it's just hard though to follow because you don't get a break.
Right.
You don't get a break. It's like either you, if you want to take a break, let's take a break. But you're going to miss stuff, and just hopefully that you don't miss enough.
Yeah, I mean around SummerSlam too. I guess I get pretty back into it because at that point it's just baseball. Premier League's maybe just getting started, so easier to get back into it then too.
Yeah. Plus, I think this year we'll get the Rock Roman match finally. I think we'll finally get it. This one. So I think the lead up between now and then should be pretty interesting. And like I said, around this time of year it's also like cooling off time for WWE, especially. Once you get past Survivor Series, I think you'll start picking things up a little bit.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
We'll see. Anyway, Matt, good job as always, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Peace.